Alright, so I was told I can't film around in here. It's actually the first time this whole trip I was told not to film something, so I'll just film outside, which hopefully that will still be okay at least. Leaving Milos now. This time we are on the Champion Jet 2. A little bit different than the ferry that I took on the way here. This one is faster and more expensive, and you know, to be honest, what I'm seeing right now so far, a little more pretentious too. When I was trying to film just the general area inside, I was actually yelled at for filming in there, which I totally was not expecting that. I mean, it's not like I was like filming anyone's face, but anyway, you know, I'm sure that it's not going to be a problem outside here. This is what I really wanted to film anyway, was the scenes outside here with the you know, with the islands as we pass by them. Definitely could tell this is a much faster ferry than the one I came on here with, because the wind is really blowing here. But so we should be stopping at Sifnos and I think Serifos as well before we end up back in PIRAEUS in Athens. We should be there in about 4 hours from now. So just kind of sit up here and enjoy the view and you know, enjoy our time until we end up back in PIRAEUS. Of course, being careful not to, you know, film anything around the inside here other than myself, which hopefully there's not a problem with filming myself here, because, you know, God forbid. You know, just wanted to show like what it looked like inside the main area here. But when you do come in, one thing that was also different on this ferry compared with the other, you know, the Zante ferries that I took on the way down, was that here, when you do board, there is an attendant who will tell you what section the seat area that you purchased was. There are different levels, of course, you know, and varying prices for different sections that you have a seat for. If you know, of course, you know, it's not like on a plane, you don't have to sit down in your seat the whole time. There is a seating area that is reserved for you in your section, so that is pointed out to you when you get on the ferry. That technically, as far as I know, was the case on the Zante ferries when I went down, but they, you know, they weren't really, they didn't really seem to care. I think on the cheaper ferries there's perhaps maybe a little bit less classism on the ferries, so they didn't really seem to care so much there. Here, I mean, you know, the sections are clearly marked, and the sections that are the more kind of expensive sections and the special areas are like very clearly marked, like, you know, booked passengers only for, you know, for this section, so they let you know that for sure on this one. So there's Athens and Piraeus, right next to Athens, where we are about to arrive. So pretty much done with this ferry trip. Definitely much faster than the ferry that I took on the way down. Like I said, this one is the faster one. It is more expensive, but of course you're paying for the speed that it takes. I mean, it was only about, not even, it's been about 3 hours. It's been 3 hours only since we left Milos. Actually, more than twice the amount of time to go down on Zante ferries. That was more like 7 hours. So, you know, the one that's fast, I mean, yes, it's worth the price if you need it to be fast. We're starting to slow down now, so you can hear that it's a, you know, the wind is kind of dying down a little bit. So we should be docking in Piraeus here in a few minutes. So, but that was the ferry ride on board Champion Jet 2. So, I'll leave a link below to Ferry Scanner where you can find this and many other ferries if you are looking to take a ferry anywhere to the islands from Piraeus. The most convenient way, depending on the island you go to, is to fly, but it's usually more expensive that way. I mean, yes, it's expensive, but it's much faster. But the ferries, if you're taking your time, and let's face it, I mean, if you're here on vacation, why rush, right? I mean, it's nice to take a ferry, at least one way. It's nice to take a ferry. That's a wrap from this ferry ride from Milos to Piraeus. Thank you, all of you who have watched. Thank you especially to those of you who have subscribed. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And I will catch you next time.